tighten that up now, Amber. we didn't finish. I was hoping we would, but it's got dark, and this last bit of stump is awkward. It's only 10, well, a bit more than 10 foot now. We were dropping them here in this little patch, you know, in cutting them into rounds and then halving them again. So I can come back tomorrow and sort this out. Dave has been and taken 2 loads already, 2 loads of wood. So he's got to come back as well for all this. This is not snow, this is sawdust. The only thing that we broke was one sprinkler head. So that's not bad, is it, when you look at the situation that we've got here? Nowhere to drop anything, was there? So I'll speak to you later. I've got no more memory on the phone. I'll talk when I'm driving back, probably, or tomorrow when it's all finished. It's about 6 p.m. now. Okay, we're a couple of days after the job now. I'm just making this to finish the video. I'm still in the middle of editing. There was so many files, half of which I had to delete because they just can't all fit in. So you might be wondering, or some of you might wonder, why I didn't get a crane in, at least to bring the stem down on the tree. Well, they're about 600 an hour to get one big enough here, and I think that includes you paying for travelling time and setup as well, so you're going to be 600 down before you've even started. You know, and then I don't know how many sections would we have needed. There was at least 100 foot of stem there stood up, so I don't know, 15-foot sections perhaps, you know, would have been safe to lift down. Could have done it bigger, but then you need somewhere to lay them out, and there's 3 or 4 driveways there that we weren't really allowed to block up. So yeah, it would have eaten up a few hours, I would think, by the time they arrived to when when they leave, and that's a lot of money to give away, you know, especially at a time of year that's, you know, things are quieting down now. There's not much work left to do this year, so I just can't justify it. Not when I have obviously have the skills and the means and the confidence to do it a different way, you know, and manage without doing any damage, and keep you know, keep the lion's share of the money, and you know, and that's a day's work for myself and Amber, or whoever else would have been working with me. You know, I'm not afraid of working hard, and I'm certainly not afraid of you know, putting my know-how and skills to the test when in you know, critical situations like that, where I'd had a mistake. If I'd made a mistake, if we'd lost one of the logs out of the rigging, it would have been pretty bad. You know, could have knocked that whole wall down, or, you know, damaged the house, and then all the profit's gone from the job. But, you know, that comes with practice and confidence, doesn't it? Knowing, we can actually, you know, execute a game plan and have faith in it. So so I obviously had to keep the zip line in the limbs. I don't think I need to explain the thinking there. That should have been quite obvious, the way the driveway was and the landscape was and everything was set up. That was the first thing I noticed when I went to look at the job and quote for it. You know, you never just walk right up to a tree and look from underneath. I always stand back from a distance and weigh everything up. So obviously the limbs, that was, you know, self-explanatory there, why we zip lined it all out, and the logs too. To me, it was really obvious how I was going to do it. I worked that out in a minute or two from when I went to look at the job. but you know, I knew also that there would only be 2 of us there working, so we had to have a system that I could control, you know, catch and control the logs, you know, from up on in the stem, and Amber would have to be down at the landing, you know, tightening the zip line and doing the organising down there as the logs came down and landed. So I obviously had to keep the pieces short because they would all be pretty much shock loading the system, because I didn't really like the idea of one-handed pushing and then trying to let the logs run with the right hand. That didn't seem like a good idea. It just seemed like you're kind of asking for trouble doing that, especially when the line is running round the barrel. No thanks. So I kept them short, and you know, I wasn't using a face cut in the front, or undercut, whatever you want to call it. So, and when you do that, you know, if you're using step cuts or sliding them off, you kind of, because there's no notch cut out of it, the line sort of, it tends to stay pretty taut as the log falls over and then it re-engages. You know, there's no jolt on the line, which is what breaks lines in general. And we just picked away at it, and it did take ages. There was tons of logs to do. I've only showed a fraction of them on the video, but you get the idea that there was absolutely loads. And then I had to slice down the last 12 foot. No, it was a bit higher than that. We'd run out of light. But you know, when the logs were getting too close to the edge of the wall on the zip line, and I had to stop and slice them and rip them and split them short, and then throw them onto a little patch of dirt, as you could see. And I don't think there's anything else to say really. It should have been quite obvious. You know, Friday was the long day. I was there for ages, like on my own. Amber went at about 5:30, and then I was there for another hour and a bit after that, just, you know, scooping up sawdust and moving logs and messing about. So yeah, I think that's it now. There'll be no more videos before Christmas, and I don't know when I'll get back into it. You know, work's slacking right off now, and I'm glad. So have a good Christmas wherever you are, and I'll see you whenever. All right, cheers.